July 25th. We are 6 days away from the deadline, and the Blue Jays are a damn steamroller. They continue to beat the best teams in baseball, beating the best team in the American League last night. Actually, stop that right there. The best team in the American League is the Toronto Blue Jays, and it feels great to say it. Beating the Detroit Tigers last night 11-4. Hello and welcome to the Walk Off, everybody. I'm Scott Belford, joined as always by the best co-host in the biz, Adam Mack. And oh my goodness, dude, this team doesn't seem to be able to do anything but contribute up and down the lineup. Like we've been talking about this, Adam, for a while now, right? The next man up mentality, something that is just so freaking impossible to do in baseball. There's so much player development that goes in. It's so hard to have a group of guys who can go out and get it done, and they just don't stop doing it.
Studs and duds was hard to pick this week. Let's put it that way.
Yes, yes. So we are going to get into studs and duds. We're talking Eric Lowour. We're bringing in our intern. Matt is going to talk prospects with us. So Adam and I, buddy, we have been screaming for what, a month and a half now? Sell the farm.
Yep.
Sell the farm. No prospect is off limits. I know that this rubs some people the wrong way, that there are obviously prospects that you want to keep. I am past that. I just want a World Series banner for our Toronto Blue Jays. We watched what happened in 2021 when maybe they didn't go quite in as much as they should have, right? You have these windows, and these windows exist not just in baseball, all right? Like opportunity in life. Sometimes you get a job offer. Sometimes you get a chance to do something, and if you don't jump at it, it's not coming back around. And that's how I feel about this 2025 Blue Jays team. So we're bringing in Matt. Matt loves his prospects. So we figured we'd have him on the show to push back a little bit about Adams and my sell it all. Nobody's off limits. Then we're going to talk Vladdy because the man is being shit on pretty regularly. And I really have been loving what we're seeing out of him since the All-Star break, since coming back. Whether the power has been there or not, he has really shown his skills as a hitter. We're going to talk the Blue Jays signing that 14-year-old Angel Montas out of the Dominican Republic, international free agent. Handshake deal, not even able to truly make it official till 2028. And then we're facing Tarik Skubal tonight, the Detroit Tigers, game 2 of this 4-game series. And I know Adam and I did our preamble for the Patreon, and I was kind of joking with you, Adam, that I feel like a Maple Leafs fan screaming, "We want Florida" right now because I want Tarik Skubal. Let's see what the boys can do against the best. They might need to face him in the playoffs.
Hopefully only once in the playoffs.
Yes, hopefully only once. But division series, we'll see how it all lines up. Right now, the Blue Jays sitting atop the American League, best team in the American League, which means they would get that bye into the division series. I know it's a little early to be talking playoffs here with just a little under 60 games remaining, but as a Jays fan, oh man, it's almost impossible not to look ahead. But this Tigers series is a big one. They handled them mightily, beating them really big time. Really big time. Adam, let's start with 3 studs and a dud here. Before we dive right in, a little housekeeping I want to do. So, Baseball Town, oh boy, this is going to be a doozy on August 7th. I've got a heck of a panel put together to discuss the trade deadline and what goes on. So we've got Ben Schulman, play-by-play announcer with the Toronto Blue Jays on the radio there and filling in pretty regularly these days with Buck missing so much time on television. We've got Keegan Matheson, friend of the show, author now, right? #1 book in Canada for a couple weeks there with the franchise. Love to see that. And then, as if that's not enough, we've got Jesse Rubinoff of the Fan 590, formerly Tim and Friends, Tim McAuliffe, which by the way, man, I have been thinking about messing up his name every single day since we did it. Like I can't believe that you didn't pull it out. And then I was just like, my brain, I was so hungover. It was just like a dull buzz going on.
You know what it is here? It's like when you're asking for somebody to help you spell a word, right? You're like, how do you spell consciousness? Conscience? Consciousness. Con how do you spell science? Let's just go with that, okay? How do you spell science? Let's not get too fancy here, right? But then when you ask for how do you spell a word, what they say is don't offer suggestions. Like if you're the one asking, don't be like, hey, how do you spell science? Is it SCEINCE? Because as soon as you make a suggestion, it's planted in the
Yeah.
person you're asking. So give them a clean slate to come up with how to spell it if you're asking for help spelling a word, right? And I think that's just what happened
Yeah.
with Metcalf. Was as soon as
Oh,
you said it, I was like, yeah, that's right.
oh, I just started throwing mud into the water right away, and we're both
Oh,
like, we can't see, but we think this is it. In true walk-off fashion.
just stuck in a cave, running out of air, underwater. Yeah, I don't know. As soon as the episode ended, I
Oh,
was immediately
I know
clicked to
you
it, and
messaged
I
me
knew we
right
were gonna
away,
get.
and I was
I was
like,
like, we're gonna
"Oh
get
my
roasted for
God,
this.
we're gonna get so many
So
comments about this." Like, the worst
yeah,
part is, dude, I'm a fan. Like, I
uh
love McCallum. Like, I think
huh.
he's such a good broadcaster, so good at what he does, and so funny. It's just like,
Not as good as Tim Metcalf,
no, that's
but
right. No, you can't beat Mr.
well, well, every once in a while, a guy you respect gets Gary Gossman. It happens. So,
Yeah. So all of this to say, Jesse Rubinoff, Keegan Matheson, Ben Schulman, we took Baseball Town from Comedy Bar. It is now going to be at the Liberty Village left field. Baseball is going to reign supreme for the rest of this summer. So come join all your fellow Jays fans right now. So I'm going to throw the ticket link into the comments section. If you use the code BASEBALL, it's going to save you $5. That means tickets are only $20. It's always a great show. And I am thinking that we're going to sell this one out. It seats 110. So get on it. Get it out there. We're already over 20 tickets sold. And I just started advertising on Facebook and Instagram yesterday. So again, let's get on it. Let's pack this thing. Let's celebrate our Toronto Blue Jays. And we've got a heck of a cast to do so. Before we dive into three studs and a dud, I wanted to talk that Yankees series just for a second, dude. Because, and I'm not proud of this, but yesterday I kept playing Blue Jays content and then I'd get like 5 to 10 minutes in and I'd need to pause it and then go back to listening to Yankees content. Just like, I don't know why I was getting such a kick out of their misery. Oh my God. That Talking Yanks episode from John,
oh, Aaron
it was
Boone, yeah,
so bloody. It was delicious. Just
as
full
good as it
on.
gets.
Full on panic. And this is the beautiful thing too, is they kept being like, how do we fix the defense? How do we fix the defense? And all I could think is Yankees fans don't have the fucking balls to go through what it takes to fix the defense. You know what you do? You take your second best hitter, you throw it into a trade for a reliever. Then you go out, you take your number one prospect overall, you trade it for the best defensive center fielder in baseball, and then you struggle for 3 years to figure it out where you don't even have any really high-end prospects.
Uh,
You have a big glut of 25-year-olds, right? Who just have been trained to play all over the field. And eventually you form this magical soup that is, I'm like, the Yankees fans can't go through that. But anyways,
it's been sweet. It's been
it's
sweet.
been very, very sweet. It's been very, very sweet. All right. On that, I will toss it to you, my friend. Three studs and a dud. Let's go. We got some to
Uh,
talk.
yeah, tough one this week. We'll do duds first because those are less fun. Duds also tough to find, really. Nobody really jumped off the page except Chad Green,
Yeah.
I guess. Two outings this week, gave up 2 home runs, 4 runs total, 18 ERA. one earned run his first outing, and then three the other day. Chad Green has been rock solid. Otherwise, like I don't. This isn't a panic signal for me. I think it was other than these two games this week. I think it was 7 games in a row without giving up a single run. So whatever, Chad Green, I'm not worried about. Like he's fine.
Do you think he is the bottom of the totem pole here? Like, if they go out and get, let's say at the trade deadline, they go out and get 2 relievers. Does Chad Green's $11 million contract for this year survive, or do they just pay him out and send him on his way?
Well, who else? Who name our bullpen right now?
Well, you'd have Braden Fisher, you'd have Mason Fluharty in there, so those are two options that might get sent down. Fisher we haven't seen much of lately, which is kind of odd because they were really using him a lot. Then you've got obviously your high end guys in Brandon Little, Yariel Rodriguez, and Jeff Hoffman.
See, yeah, I don't know. That's enough for me.
Justin Brule.
It I would not let Chad Green go as long as we have a bullpen piece with options.
Hmm.
Like send a guy down to AAA and
Yeah.
keep Stutton. Like just as a guy who can pitch an inning or two when we're up 7 or down 7 as a worst case scenario. Like just depth is going to be so important down the stretch here, and he doesn't have to be on the playoff roster. So if
No,
that's the question, is he bottom totem pole for playoff roster?
no, I
Sure. Like
meant
if
more for how you
for
go.
when we
Yeah.
when we make a trade deadline acquisition and somebody gets bumped out, right? I wouldn't bump Chad Green out. I think he's fine. I think yeah, he would be send a kid down to AAA and keep rolling, and then call the kid back up and cut Chad Green at the end of September or mid September or early September. But I wouldn't just cut ties with him the day after the trade deadline, just because his. I don't think his numbers are that bad, are they?
No, they're not actually outside of yesterday's
So
blow up. But also, you know what? You go into a game in the ninth and it's 11-1. Yeah, do what you want,
you're
man.
giving your best stuff, right? Yeah,
Like
exactly.
just throw it
So
down the middle and get out of the inning.
yeah. So there you go. That's your dud this week. Dishonorable mention goes to Max Scherzer.
Okay.
Just again, the offense was firing on all cylinders, so I'm not going to pick an offensive guy. I mean, other bums you could look at is like Miles Straw had a 182 batting average this week, but limited reps,
Yeah. And
and he's solid defensively. Like he did exactly what you wanted out of Miles Straw, so like it is what it is. Davis Schneider as well, like he hit 200. He had 5 at bats all week. Like I'm not gonna
yeah.
whatever. So Max Scherzer had a start, pitched into the 5th inning.
Yeah.
Yeah, five innings, 4 earned runs. Like
And
wasn't even
all in
that
that first
bad.
inning too. That's the thing.
Yeah, like it was fine.
Yeah.
The most important thing with Scherzer right now is that he stays healthy. So if he's given me 80 to 90 pitches, I really don't even care about the outcome otherwise right now. Like, and honestly, one more start out of Max Scherzer is all I really need out of him.
Yeah.
And then hopefully there's reinforcements on the way via trade. And if he needs to be the odd man out or workload reduced or it's a 6-man rotation or whatever, we'll figure it out. But yeah, this team's going to be a lot different by this time next week. So Max Scherzer, dishonorable mention. It is what it is. It wasn't even that bad, but somebody had to do it. Duds were funner and harder to pick.
Studs. But yes.
Studs, yes, thank you. Let's go with pitchers to start. It was a 1A, 1B situation this week. But stud number 1, I'm leaning Bassett. Stud number 2, Lowour.
Yeah.
So Lowour obviously had the awesome game against the Tigers last night. Eight innings, 1 run ball, phenomenal. Their numbers were very similar. They both had 2 starts this week. A 1.93 ERA for Lowour, a 1.98 ERA for Chris Bassett. Um, Chris Bassett was 1 out shy of 14 innings. That'd be 7 innings per game. Lowour had 14 as well. So, like,
Wow.
basically same amount of innings pitched, 7 innings per game on average. They both had 13 strikeouts with 0 walks.
Studs.
It was incredible. Only reason in case anybody's wondering, because you deep dive the stats and you go, yeah, but Chris Bassett gave up 3 homers and Lowour only gave up 2. So that should be the tiebreaker. A valid point. For me, it went down to matchups. They both pitched against the Giants for wins. And then Lowour pitched against the Tigers and Bassett pitched against the Yankees. And for me, that was just what it came down to. Was I had to draw the line somewhere, and the Yankees matchup just meant more to me than. And this isn't a slight against the Tigers. Tigers, obviously, one of the best teams in baseball, but Yankees just meant a little more. Stud number 3. By this point, after the 1A, 1B, honestly, there was 6 guys, maybe 7, that could have been your third stud. Picking third stud and picking honorable mention, really tough this week. Honestly, one of the hardest weeks I've had. But this week it is Addison Barger, who hit 385 and a 1022 OPS. Had a home run, a double, a triple, 6 RBIs. Another just great week for Barger. Honorable mention, Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
Also 6 RBIs and a home run.
And Bo's been doing it quietly, eh? Have you
He has
noticed
been,
that? Like,
yeah.
he doesn't stand out on this team, but he's just always kind of getting it done.
He's quietly had a really good season. 4 doubles this week is why I leaned Bichette for the honorable mention as the tiebreaker. But it also could have been Ernie Clement. It also could have been Vladdy. It also could have been Springer. It also could have been Kirk. Honestly, Tyler Heineman, again, in limited role, continues to be incredible when called upon. He had a 1.5 OPS this week. 7 at-bats, homered, 3 RBIs, a double. Like,
And the pitching
it's crazy
staff
to me.
loves him. Like, it's just like, just, I just still can't get over that this 34-year-old, almost lifetime minor league catcher. I know he had like 120 games or whatever up until this point, but like, he hadn't even put in a full season's worth of games, and
Yeah.
he'd been kicking around the majors for years. The Blue Jays found something in him, man. I don't know if this is just like his 15 minutes of fame or whatever it is, like you get one good year, maybe that's it. Maybe this is it, but
Maybe. I don't know. I know 6 guys on the team this week had an OPS of 1,000 or better.
wow.
And then 2 more had OPS over 800. Lopper Fido, 833. Kirk, 855. Davis Schneider went 1 for 5 this week, but he drew 5 walks
Mhm.
for an OPS of 1,000. Barger, we talked about. Will Wagner had a quiet, good week. 429 batting average. 4 RBIs for Will Wagner. Went 6 for 14. Like, the team's firing on all cylinders. It is
Truly.
depth. It is spread across the board. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different guys homered this week. That's why when you walk Barger to get to Clement, good things still happen. I don't know. It's been a good
I
week.
agree. This team is emanating a confidence I haven't seen coming out of this Blue Jays squad since probably 2016, too. Like, these guys believe. There isn't a lack, there isn't a doubting Thomas on this team. Like, they are well aware of what is going on, and they're riding it, and they're doing it with this energy, like you're seeing old man Springer just doing stuff like rounding third, screaming as he's going full bore. Like, you see guys like that, and these are the high paid dudes. And of course,
Yeah.
it's going to motivate Addison Barger. Like, of course, it's going to motivate Eric Lowour. You see your $25 million man, the highest paid guy to ever play on the Blue Jays up until this April. Putting in that kind of
Yeah.
effort at 35 years old, like it's contagious. And they all have the bug. All right, let's move on to Eric Lowour. Stud number two. I want to dive into him a little bit here because honestly, dude, this is a he's 2022's Ross Stripling. He
Yeah.
has literally saved this team. And I know that he is getting credit for it. It's still not enough credit. And I'm starting to really buy in that this is Eric Lowour. There are reasons to think that this is sustainable. Not only has he had a track record before this, and then got injured, struggled to stay in the majors, wound up in Korea, which is talk about character building there. Shows he loves baseball and was not ready to give it up. He's also only 30 years old. I know you listen to him talk. I think this was an interview from like 3, 4 days ago. And I think it was Julia Cruz that was talking with him, asked the question at the press conference. And it was just about his change in pitching philosophy. And he even said he's like one of the things that really got him into trouble earlier in his career was he could hit 95. So he would rear back and try and hit 95 all the time. And chasing velocity, he is convinced is what injured his arm to begin with and set him back and kind of knocked him out of the major leagues. So to have to be cognizant of that at 30 years old and trust your stuff and know that it's about hitting your spots and know that it's about moving your fastball around the zone and know that it's about keeping hitters off balance and hitting the strike zone with that curveball and being fearless in doing so is worth so much more than the 2 or 3 extra miles an hour that you're getting on your fastball. Like he has been absolutely nails for this team. 8 innings yesterday, dude, against a very, very good Detroit Tigers team. Like he's a pitcher, man. He's not a thrower, right? I'm not saying go out and sign him to a mega contract or anything crazy like that. And I know we talked about this on Mailbag on Tuesday. He's got another year of arbitration, so they don't even really need to worry about it. But maybe in the offseason, it is worth being like, hey, what do you think about a 4 year, $44 million deal? Like, can you get him locked up long term? And again, there's some major risk to this because you are jumping the gun on a guy who could be Bowden Francis from the left side. And I still think Bowden is going to be fine, actually. I think that Bowden Francis is just the 2.5 ERA guy we watched last September. I think he's probably more like that 4.25, 4.5 guy, back end of the rotation, is going to give you some really good starts. Maybe he gives up too many home runs at times. I don't get that vibe from Eric Lowour.
4 years, 44 million. I mean, 11 million a year you can just set on fire for a starter, even if he's not good.
I mean, the
It's,
Blue Jays are setting it on fire with Chad Green, so like not to pick on our dud.
yeah, like I don't know what Lauer would go for or what he'd be interested in if he would even want to do. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense from a we're not the Yankees. We can't spend that kind of money on our starting rotation. Like we're gonna have to have a couple reasonably priced guys in our rotation.
Hmm.
So like maybe Lauer is that guy. I don't know.
I
If it's an 11-ish AAV, I think that I'd be fine being wrong about that. Like if you just had Steven Matz.
I
giving
get
you
the
a
feeling
four,
too.
even if like a 4.5, high fours ERA as your number five guy in the
Mhm.
rotation for
Yeah.
like, if, I just mean like if we miss on Lowour,
Yes.
if we were to give him some sort of a deal and he took it and then kind of turned back into a pumpkin or however you want to describe it, and you go, okay, well, that is what it is.
I get the feeling too, Adam, that he's a little bit of the class clown in that dressing room. I think he is a little bit of the comic relief. I know that Max Scherzer, you see him with Max. Max loves this guy. Like, Max is talking to him nonstop. And I know that there were people who actually were like, is he serious from that press conference yesterday where he was
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
the
getting the
fat lip.
fat lip from Max Scherzer, which I thought was just funny. Like I was laughing right out of the gate. You could see the glint in his eye of just like the shit disturber in
Yeah,
him. And I was just loving it. I think it's really funny. Of course, you go online and people are like, how could he joke about being assaulted? I'm like, okay, can we reel it in just a little bit here? Like, this is a guy who's really enjoying the ride, hasn't been
yeah.
in Major League Baseball for over a year, and like let him kind of have his moment, you know? Like, but I think that there is something to be said for a guy who fits into the clubhouse and has a role to play on the culture side of things. And Eric Lauer feels like that guy a little bit, right? Like uh,
Sure.
a little bit of don't take things too seriously. You got guys like Chris Bassett and Max Scherzer who every
Hmm.
once in a while might take down an iPad, right? Lauer just feels more chill.
He's the comedic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's good. Yeah, I have no issues with Lauer. I'm glad he's under control. I'm glad we don't have to make a decision on him anytime soon. I'm glad that the ball's in our court, so to speak, to either let it play out next season or offer him extension or whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. But for now, it seems to be rolling, and there's reasons to believe this is sustainable. So let's enjoy it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So we are going to go to our next segment here, and we're going to be talking trade deadline and where we're at on what prospects we're going to let out. Be prepared to give up, I guess, is a better way of putting it. And of course, we're bringing in and very excited to have for the first time here on the walk off our editor, Wonder Boy extraordinaire, Matt. Thank you so much for taking the time, buddy. How you been?
Good, good. Thanks for having me, Scott. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, you've got Adam. Matt went out and bought a new mic. Look at that. Looks
Oh
good.
yeah,
It's incredible.
Not to throw it in your
beautiful.
face here. The mic
It
was
lights up.
Adam
It's
Matt.
awesome.
Yeah, it was I got on Amazon deal days. It was
Hey,
like a
there you go.
$60 mic I got for like $10.
Oh, can't beat that.
Adam has some advice for you to things not to do with your mic. I know that his
I don't want to
tried
talk about it.
doing.
Don't let your kid do water ASMR videos with her friend with your mic.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I could see that being an issue.
So stupid. I almost punched both of them. It's like,
I
like,
will not be letting anybody near this with any sort of water, don't worry.
yeah,
Microphones are not plants. Let's dive
no.
in here because I'm excited to have you, Matt, because there is times where on this show, Adam and I just agree too much, and it doesn't make for great radio or
Don't
listening.
get us
So,
started on Jonathan Classe, though.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
Emmanuel Classe, sorry.
We did have a disagreement in the Patreon section about Emmanuel Classe because I was like, I'd love Classe, and Adam was like, Have you seen him pitch in the playoffs? No, you don't.
He's such a hit and miss guy.
Oh,
I like Class A, but I don't think he's not the guy.
who, if you're after a high-end reliever, Matt, who's your guy?
Um, Let me think. There's a couple. I honestly think like Pittsburgh, like getting Santana off Pittsburgh is probably the best option for the Jays in terms of relievers. Like starters, I would also say go to Pittsburgh, get Mitch Keller, get Merrill Kelly. But if we're talking about like a reliever who's gonna be like your 7-8, like fill in where Hoffman like needs to take a break, I would say it's Santana.
Class A is interesting too because Cleveland is on such a hot streak. I know Baltimore finally beat them yesterday, which is great. But you do start to look at the standings and you're like, oh man, Cleveland's only 2.5 games out of a wild card. Like maybe they're not the sellers everyone kind of had them pegged to be. And then you look at teams like the Minnesota Twins that only 1 week ago was kind of in the same boat as Cleveland is now, and you're like, maybe Yohan Duran is available. Like maybe Joe Ryan's not a huge pipe dream. Like maybe you can go out and get Carlos Estevez out of Kansas City at this point. So that those AL Central teams that are on the bubble, it's going to be interesting to see how everything washes out there.
Joe Ryan's another good name. Like I baseball town with JD Bunkus. He said Joe Ryan once, and then I went down a rabbit hole, and everywhere I'm looking, people want Joe Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, high end of the rotation guy with some control.
Control.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. So, Matt, Adam, and I are pretty firmly on the no prospect is off limits with this team. If it can bring in what needs to be brought in, I'm prepared to pay whatever exorbitant price is the case. I know Adam and I have kind of been screaming at these cameras, sell the farm. I can see just in your eyes right now bringing this up. Not a fan. Um, who is there a guy that and I know that it's really difficult to talk in these terms where it's like so speculative and there isn't really a name that we're giving you here to who would be coming this way, but like if think of the guy you want the most in the world. Is there somebody on this minor league roster that you would just be like, no, Arjun Namala, you can't touch him. No, Trey Savage, you can't touch him. Ricky Tiedemann's off limits. Is there a guy that you would be
I think it would just be Trey Savage. I don't think anyone's untouchable except him, specifically because of the age of the bullpen or of the Blue Jays starting rotation. Like Bassett and like most of them are on like either expiring this year, expiring in the near future. They're getting up there in age. The Blue Jays need like that future pitcher, which we thought we might get in Nate Pearson, didn't get it. We thought we still could get it in Ricky Tiedemann. We have no idea how that's going to work out. But I think they need to just have one guy who we know is doing good, we know is doing great. Keep him in the system. That way, like after this season, after the next 2, 3 seasons, we can at least either like hopefully he stays exactly how he is, have one young arm that we can say like, okay, he can be a two, he can be a three. We can build like a starting rotation and he can just slide right in.
so when the Blue Jays went out and acquired Jose Barrios, it took Austin Martin, who was the number one prospect with the Blue Jays at the time, and it took Simeon Woods Richardson, which was number 13 at the time, in the Blue Jays top 30. You look at where those guys are now, and I think the Blue Jays probably won that trade. I know that Simeon Woods Richardson still, he's pitched well for Minnesota at times. I know that he's on the injured list right now, but like, he may pan out as a number 2 or 3 starter in a rotation somewhere. Adam, I know that Matt brought up Nate Pearson. I almost feel like for that reason, I'm fine with trading Trey Savage if you get a Joe Ryan. So, Adam, Joe Ryan, do you give up Trey Savage?
Oh yeah.
Matt?
No, no way. I just like something like I fall back on a lot, and we've talked about this, is yes, postseason runs, they're great. 92, 93, I wasn't born. Great time for the city. 2015, 2016, great. But there's that whole like there's 20 years over here, 5 years, like 5 years in between here. We're going on 10 of just no like postseason success. I kind of want like a team that's not gonna fall off and like have 1, 2 like really push for it. Like I'd like to have some consistency of every year, like there's a chance. And I just feel like selling, like yeah, selling for the postseason, absolutely, I agree with. Just like especially Trey Savage. I think he's just going to set us up for the next few years potentially, and really like just keep us more like a baseline instead of a real high and a real low.
Grounds crew, drop your comments below. Where are you at on who is untouchable within these prospects the Blue Jays have accumulated over the last year or two? Adam, why do you want to trade Trey Savage? What of the top prospects, and it's not that you want to trade them, but what makes you feel comfortable in moving a top prospect?
Oh, I mean, it's just like I don't know why Trey Savage is any different than any prospect we've ever had, as far as there's nothing to me that screams like
Guaranteed.
special, can't miss. Like, he's not Paul Skeens. The numbers are fine. He's our first overall or our first round draft pick from last summer. Okay. 2 years before that, we would have felt the same way about Brandon Barriera. Like, can't trade this guy. Like, he's our, you know, first round draft pick. Throws already in the high 90s, like touches 99. Okay, cool.
What are
Like,
the rules
what?
around trading 14-year-old
No, he's not tradable. That's the only guy. Okay. I guess we can't call him a guy yet. He's still a child. But we only can't trade him because legally we don't own him yet.
Yes.
Own is a word I'm not really comfortable saying. I'm sorry
No.
about that. No, I don't know. Like, Trey Savage is fine, but he's also not done anything to me to show. Like, okay, he was like really good in A ball, not been good in double A.
I feel like there's a real divide between who's prepared to sell anyone and who loves prospects. And I think it's age, generations. Because I know on Twitter, it is mind blowing, Matt, how much the youth is like they're plugged into the prospects. They know all the names. You talk about getting rid of like a Kyle Stevens and a Gage Stanifer, and there's a bunch of people that are like, you'd be crazy to do that. And I feel like I've just seen too much baseball and too many guys not pan out. You know, you get so attached to that potential idea, and then it just Nate Pearson's in your face, right? Like Joe Ryan would change this team and their chances to win a World Series, in my opinion. Like, this is the one area where the Toronto Blue Jays lack, which is that high-end ace pitcher. Is Joe Ryan an ace? He's closer than anybody on this team. So for that reason, I'm fine with giving up anything. Now, is there a breaking point? Obviously, like if we need to give up Arjun Namala and Trey Savage and Gage Stanifer and Steve, Kyle Steven, and like if it just gets ridiculous, obviously there's a place where the Blue Jays brass has to like put their foot down. But even Adam's like, no, 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 take them all.
Whatever we gotta pay for the right prize, I'm willing to overspend this year.
I
And I
guess
think Ross Atkins has to be. Like, he's 10 years into his job here. This December will be 10 years with the team. Or
Yep.
yeah, 10 years.
2015. It was
Just about.
December of 2015, but I always get does that make it 11 years? I always get
No.
my counting
No.
mixed
No,
up.
no,
It's
it'll
like
be
that.
it'll be
Okay.
10. It'll be
Okay.
10 this year.
That's like, I just don't understand I don't know why. I've been getting recommended a lot of TSN Blue Jays coverage, which is hilarious to me because they're not baseball guys. It's like they're hockey guys covering the Jays.
They're very far from baseball guys.
So it's funny to hear them chime in and be like, "Well, Ross has got to be like responsible and whatever." I'm like, "Do you not know that he's like at the end of his plank? Like, he's got to jump off here very soon." Like, I just don't know the idea of Ross Atkins being responsible on Trey Savage spend because you don't want to totally sell the farm and like Why? Ross Atkins is worried that Trey Savage is going to be the ace for the next guy in his job? Like, I don't know. I don't know why Ross would care. Like, I know that whatever, we can point to Alex Anthopoulos, or yeah, AA on his way out of town, like the 2015 Tulowitzki Price year, like all that stuff. Like, I get it. But
There's
that's the move. Like, I
the
don't know
one
why you would
example.
just want a prospect to work out for an organization you're not going to be a part of. If
The one example that does scare me is obviously the Padres going out and getting Juan Soto and the package that they gave to the Nationals, which was Mackenzie Gore, James Wood, and
yeah,
CJ Abrams, all of which are literally like you could argue worth more than Juan Soto right now, each of them.
mhm.
Um, but that happens so rarely.
I would also argue that like I don't really think the Blue Jays have anyone in the organization that's at their level of prospects. Like they were very sought after prospects,
Where
and I just don't like yeah, it's a scary trade, but I just don't think like personally, I think the Blue Jays farm system is pretty bad, and it's kind of it's I think it like it's something that almost needs to be addressed from the team is it's like there's not a whole lot of pieces there that you could sell. Like I think anything would be a really big long package if we're going for a specific like prospect to immediate impact player trade. Like I think no matter what, if you don't want to give up a guy on the 26 man, you're going to be giving up like three maybe four prospects for one game changer.
Before we let you go here, Matt, I do want your opinion on a really interesting thing that kind of surfaced out in the last couple of days, which is that the San Diego Padres are probably looking to sell Dylan Cease, which is really interesting because they're a wild card team right now, and Dylan Cease is definitely, if Cease is available, he's up there with Joe Ryan and Mackenzie Gore, right? Like he
Oh
is
yeah.
a top end of the rotation guy. What is stated that the Padres want in return is to augment their offense. Is there anyone like if you're looking at maybe you need to give up a Nathan Lucas and some of these guys off the 26-man roster? As tantalizing as Dylan Cease is, are you almost at a point with this Blue Jays roster where you're like, um, don't mess with the magic? Like, and because we talked about this before, Matt, like you and I have had this conversation lots of times. Like, yeah, maybe you do wind up trading Ernie. Maybe you do wind up trading Nathan Lucas to get that guy. Maybe you do take away from the 26 man to fill holes and needs and improve the team. Where are you at on where this Blue Jays team is right now, July 25th? And would you be comfortable moving some offense off of the 26-man roster if it is a Dylan Cease type get?
Yeah, I think I would be pretty comfortable with it. But like the first name you brought up was Nathan Lucas. I I don't think the Jays are going to move him at all. Like he's in his 30s, late
30,
20s.
he just turned 31.
Yeah, so I feel like he's gonna kind of be minus the PED stuff. He's gonna be like a Chris Colabello story of he just explodes onto the scene. Maybe we'll get another good year out of him next year, but I don't really see like a whole lot of value I don't see getting a whole lot of value for trading him, especially with how it is. The one guy, the two guys that I kind of think would be good to trade off the 26 would be Joey Luperfido after his resurgence now. I think his stock is probably at an all-time high. He's batting great, defensively great. Like he's doing exactly what you ask of him. I think him with a couple prospects, you could easily get a guy like Cease, Joe Ryan. You could get a high leverage arm for either your rotation or your bullpen.
Adam, do you see any value in Will Wagner these days since his call up he's been a lot better. I know that, and Matt, you're nailing it with Joey Loperfido. I always forget about Loperfido, but he has been really good since being called back up. And I think you're right with his value. He is showing that he has power. You know, we watched him go back to back with Clement last night and has been very, very good in the outfield. And he's another guy that can kind of play all three positions out there in the outfield. Will Wagner, where are you at on the possibility of? And it's funny because these are guys that the Blue Jays accumulated at the trade deadline last year. Are we going to watch them move them?
Well, I mean, for me, does a guy have value or not applies to all three of these: Wagner, Loperfido, Lucas. If a guy can play at the major league level and is pre-arbitration, that's a lot of value
Yeah.
to those cheap teams like a Marlins or a Pirates or a Guardians or Brewers. Love filling in around the edges. So for me, that's like, I don't know, you're not looking for a home run. Like if you're one of those teams, you're not looking for a home run. You're looking for a guy who can be serviceable, be like decent, where your fans aren't going like, "Oh my God, this fucking loser." Like when he's playing for free, that's a lot of value, you know? Like, I don't know. It's
Drop your
yeah,
comment.
I don't think Nathan Lucas has Hall of Fame trajectory, but again, with 2 years pre-arb, like he's got 5 more years of playing for pretty darn cheap.
Mhm.
So even if they're not the greatest years, it's serviceable. It's Raymel Tapia. It's,
Mhm.
you know, like those guys have value to a team that is just looking to, you know, line up a squad and
Especially if you're playing the platoon and splits and handedness game that a lot of teams are playing these days, you know, like for $800,000 a year. Nathan Lucas does have a lot of value, I think. I know that his age is probably a little prohibitive, but for some teams, right? Like that you want to go a little bit younger if you can, but also that's the money ball of it, right? It's like he's been ignored because he's probably a little bit older. And if he was 26, he probably would have had all sorts of hype and been called up a year or two earlier, right? So um, Matt, thank you so much, buddy. I know that you're always behind the scenes working away. And so, for everyone on the walk off watching us right now, know that this is the gentleman who has made sure that we have our product looking much better than we did before. So, thank you for that,
thank
Matt.
you,
Thank
Matt.
you for joining us for a little bit here, buddy. I'll let you go, but I'll send you the stuff here when we're done
Oh
and
yeah,
you'll get
I'll
it up
be
and
Get
heading
back
going.
to
into
work.
this, trying to figure it out. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thanks, Matt. Good
And
talking to you.
I didn't get to say it before, but it's not because I'm young that I'm a prospect hugger, and this is for Adam. I'm a Sabres fan, so my prospects leave and go win Stanley Cups, which is why I am very much keep them before you go watch them lift the trophy somewhere else.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Awesome.
All
All
right,
right,
thanks
Matt.
for having me, guys.
Yeah. Later,
Cheers.
buddy. All right. Good little talk there with our boy. Okay. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I want to talk him really quickly because in my opinion, since the All-Star break, he's gotten a lot of heat about just not doing enough. And we've been on that train, right?
Okay.
Love to see some power out of Vladdy. Literally, if he was putting up the exact same numbers as he is right now, and then you add another 10 home runs on his total, I'm fine. Right? Like if he's just a 30 home run hitter, I know that it's still not exactly where we want him, but his home runs, he's at 13 on the season, I think it is. And it's just like he's going to hit 20 this year, probably. But dude, have I ever been impressed with some of the incredible at bats that he has had? I mean, that one against Dylan Cease, where he was driving him inside with cutters, and he manages to readjust, literally expect the pitch, and then get the barrel around to drive it in to left field for a double, scoring Springer from first. How many guys on this team could do that? Not many.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not. This is such a weird topic because I don't want to complain about him,
Hmm.
but I also
Want
feel
more.
how like every Jays fan feels
Yeah.
is like they want more. I think that's totally valid when you give a guy $500 million and you say he's generational talent and here's the contract to prove it. Okay,
By the
I
way,
want more than 13 home runs by July 25th.
I'm not defending him even, but I am saying that like in the last few games he has done stuff where I'm like, okay, that's something that only an elite talent could pull off. Like he's had at bats where I'm just like 95% of Major League Baseball players would have been an out there. And it does feel a little bit like what Vladdy is doing is still kind of driving the bus for this team. And grounds crew, drop your comments. Like, where are you at on Vladdy? Again, uh, for the money, we want more. There's no doubt. But if we're in the ALCS and we're up against an incredibly difficult pitcher, and there's a runner on second base, and you just need a hit, there's no one I want up there more than Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
How about Addison Barger with Ernie Clement on deck? Um, no, I know what you're saying. I mean, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Like, I'm not satisfied with the answer, and I don't think I will be for a while.
You
I
know what?
forget who asked me. Someone asked me this, but I don't think it was you. So if it was you, speak up. But someone asked me if Vladdy was giving us the same like offensive value, WRC plus or whatever, right? Weighted runs created or however you want to look at it. But it was like more power based, but like the batting average and the on base percentage and everything else was reduced, right? That was the trade-off, was like essentially however you want to say this is the value offensively, whatever number you want to use for your measuring system.
Yeah.
I don't want to argue that. But however you want to evaluate, and you say just on a vibe, the value of him offensively. If it was exactly the same, but with more home runs. So the team isn't technically getting any more from him, but the home run number is
Power's
bigger.
increased.
Would you
I
I
don't
think
know.
their point was like, who cares how he's doing it? He's
Yeah.
doing it. But
Yeah.
I still feel like no, I want him to just do it.
I almost worry, Adam, that this is just going to be how we feel about Vladdy for 14 years.
Yeah. Like, okay, so when I look at the WRC plus leaders,
Mhm.
this is runs per plate appearance scaled where 100 is average, park adjusted, all that bullshit based on WOBA. What does this even mean to anybody? Who the fuck knows? Vladdy's 23rd in baseball. Well, tied for 20th, I guess. 137 is where he's at. You go, okay, those are good numbers. George Springer, by the way, 145, good for 14th in baseball.
Wow.
Then you go, yeah, but the guys at the top, like Aaron Judge, 211. Cal Raleigh, 179. Shohei Ohtani, 169. Like, that's what I want on a Vladdy.
Yeah.
I just want him to mash. Like, I know that there is value. Like, a team needs a guy to get on base and get walks and be productive and all this stuff. But like, what we're getting out of Vladdy is what I want out of Bo Bichette, not out of Vladdy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's
But maybe
really
it'd feel
tough.
different if Santander was hitting 40 fucking home runs. Like if Vladdy's numbers were exactly what they were, and Santander was sitting at 35 home runs right now, like, in the race with all those guys at the top, maybe I'd feel different. Maybe I'd be like, yeah, this is fucking fantastic. I don't know.
And I feel that so deeply, man. And then there's also a little part of my brain that's like, oh God, are you just being a Yankees fan right now? Like, where you look at the team, your team at the top of the American League, and you're just like, I need more out of Vladdy. Like, but I do feel that though. I do feel that. But
Here's
then there are moments where you watch Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and you're just like, I just shake my head. I'm just gobsmacked at the things that he's pulling off.
Yeah, I don't know. Like nobody hits it harder on the ground than Vladdy, and I don't know if that's a compliment.
Oh, it's not. I know compliments. That's not a compliment.
It turns out having a launch angle that starts with a plus is a good thing, and hopefully Vladdy can rediscover that. I don't know. Like when I watch him hit home runs and you watch the swing back, it's got such intentionality to it. Like I don't know how to describe it, but his swing is just different. Like watching him play in Boston where he's swinging not to hit it off the green monster, but to hit it over the green monster.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's got that loopy swing to it that reminds me of his dad and who he was, like who Vladdy was when he was younger. And I'm like, that's not something I usually see. Like I don't see that loopy. I want to get under it. I want to put loft under it swing. I don't see that on an at bat to at bat scenario. Like it doesn't seem like he's going into every at bat trying to put it out. It looks like he's trying to hit it hard.
Hmm.
And he is.
Is.
But so like, do you know what I'm talking about though? Like, am I crazy when you
No,
see him hit those like
no.
high moon shots over the green monster and you go, oh yeah, that was clearly a fly ball he was trying to push out. Like he was waiting on a pitch to get under and he did. So like he can. I just don't know why he isn't.
And you're not alone.
Yeah.
I think if you knew why Vladimir Guerrero Jr. isn't hitting home runs, you would be currently on this Toronto Blue Jays staff. And I would be like, I fucking podcasted with that guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Well, while we're complaining about Vlad, can we give flowers to Bo at
Yeah.
all for like the defensive year that he's putting together? I mean, offensively, it's great. Like
Hmm.
again, these are numbers from Bo. What's he at right now? He is at a 280 batting average, like a close to 800 OPS, like really good offensive numbers, but he's fucking great defensively, finally.
Yeah. I mean, he has what, 6 errors on the year?
6 errors. He's on pace for less than 10 errors this season. This
He
is,
hasn't made the same sort of throwing mistakes that we have seen in the past. And I mean, you watched Anthony Volpe in that Yankees series, and it was just like,
yeah,
holy, I forgot what a bad shortstop can do to a team, right? And I
yeah,
mean, Bo has been guilty of that as a younger man himself, but he's really, really like right now. Think about it as you listen to this. Think about Bo Bichette and the last time you were frustrated with a defensive move he's made. Like, I can't even
yeah,
really think of one where, I mean, fuck. 2 years
yeah,
ago, we were thinking of one every second week. We were like, well, what about that one with, like he's
yeah.
really shored up his defensive end of the game. And I think that that adds some real value to his game. And I mean, credit where credit is due also in that Andre Jimenez at second and Ernie Clement at second and Addison Barger at third and Ernie Clement at third. They've been very, very good defensively too. And so it just
Mhm,
kind of all plays together on that infield. And I mean, we watched
yeah.
it in that Yankees series. It was absolutely awesome to see all the guys hyped up over the defensive plays, right? Like a good defensive play was made, everyone's pointing. Everyone's like, there it is. Attaboy, let's go. Right. And to see that sort of enthusiasm, to see that sort of camaraderie over the defensive end of the game and a portion of the game that doesn't get you warm
Yeah,
and fuzzy isn't as
yeah,
rewarding. The team's special, man. It's awesome. So yeah,
it's good
flowers to
stuff.
Bo Bichette. Absolutely. All right, let's quickly wrap up here. We're going to touch on the fact that the Blue Jays back up to their old international free agent tricks here. They have a handshake deal with probably the best international free agent on the market, 14-year-old Angel Montas out of the Dominican Republic. He is slated to make $5.8 million, which would be the biggest international free agent signing in the history of Major League Baseball. Of course, this is that gray, weird area where you're like, we swear it's not human trafficking. We're not buying a human. But it's he's not even available until 2028. So this is just a handshake deal. Can this fall apart? Yeah, it's more likely that the Blue Jays walk away than this kid does, but he is highly, highly touted and would have to be at 14 to put that kind of money into him. What's your thoughts on this, Adam?
Okay. We can't officially sign the deal with him until he's 16, which is next January 15th. My understanding, could be wrong on this. It is January 15th of the year in which they turn 16 is when you can sign these international prospects, which will be January 16th of 2027. So it would be 2 months-ish into the lockout.
Yeah.
Maybe things get avoided. Maybe things have been solved by then. I don't know. Last CBA negotiations, we remember how the international free agent class was handled was a big sticking point. Probably going to be again. So is this going to be a moot point, I guess is what I'm getting at. It is just a handshake deal. They do not have anything official.
No, they don't.
So by the time the next CBA gets agreed to, it might be a draft
Yeah.
instead. And now he's just in the draft.
Yeah.
Right. So this is where it's like, okay, that's a lot of money. We gave, I think, Vladdy 3.7 million or 3.9 million, like when he was 16. So just as like a frame of reference of like where the Blue Jays think the ceiling might be on this kid, 14, 6'2", 185 pounds. Perfect game, gave him a 10 for a score. Like he's just like as good as it gets as far as like a young prospect goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot still needs to go right and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I know. But he might just be in a draft 2 years from now. Like
Yeah.
he's not. It's
Oh.
cool. It's exciting, but it's also, I don't know. Now, that being said, because you touched on the like weird gray area of like, like it does kind of make you uncomfortable the way a lot of these deals go down and purchasing of kids and whatever. But here's my question to you and for the grounds crew and whatever. And let me know and we can digest this on Tuesday for mailbag. But would a draft be that much better? Like if we were drafting 16-year-olds, is that really any better than?
I guess it would avoid the making deals with 12-year-olds, which I think is probably a little bit better. Also, in so many of these Latin American countries, right, there is poverty that maybe isn't quite the poverty is more extensive than in Canada and the US. So like there's parents and stuff that are maybe a little bit more desperate and things can get weird. I see where you're going with this. Like I get what you're saying. I don't really have an answer outside of I guess I'd rather a major league team make a deal with a 16-year-old than a 13-year-old.
I'm not sure it won't just shift the problem without solving it. You know how like electric cars are like super green and everything until
You
You
look for the
trace the
battery.
electricity back to the coal-fired power plant in Ohio. You know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, we're not shooting soot out the tailpipe, but we're anyways, with this
So you're
draft.
telling me that the Rogers Place in Edmonton didn't solve the homeless problem downtown? Just
Yeah, I see what you did there. Um, I don't know. Like I think short of just like eliminating the draft altogether and saying everybody's a free agent when they turn 18. And I don't even know if that would solve the problem. But like
yeah,
that and that's never going to happen. I'm not suggesting that's the
no.
direction. It's never going to happen. But I don't know if like having an international draft, like we just saw it with the Blue Jays with that high schooler that we drafted in the 12th round and then gave him like $1 million because he was committed to Texas A&M or whatever. So he had what's his name, Blaine Swift or he had a cool name. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was like a third round talent. A lot of everybody kind of ranked him as, but he fell so far because he had such a strong commitment to Texas A&M that it was like, well, why are we going to burn a third round draft pick on this kid?
Yeah.
He's going to college. Like he's not going to sign. So the Jays took a flyer on him in round 12 and then way overpaid and convinced him to not go to college. Like
Yeah.
I just think there will be stuff like that with these if there was an international draft where the Jays are going to be like, well, just refuse to sign. Like, just make it clear through your agent or through the agent that we assign you. Hey, we'll give you some money, or we'll give your dad some money. We'll hire your mom to work at the whatever in Dunedin. Like, we'll do some winks that'll benefit your family in like legal ways. And then when the draft comes, you just make it fucking clear as day. I want to play in Toronto.
Yeah.
And then you just fall to us, right? Like you just and you just make it clear, like you can draft me, I'm not signing. Then I'm gonna go back to Dominican, and you just keep doing that. Like so, like stuff is still gonna happen. I don't know. It's just
It is
they're
going
just
to
gonna
be
get
interesting.
sneakier about it.
It is going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out, especially with the CBA coming up next year. So, yeah, very interesting. Angel Montes, 14-year-old super stud out of the Dominican Republic. Looks like he's a Toronto Blue Jay, but a lot of things could shake out.
Either way, he's gonna be someone cool to watch in Major League Baseball,
Yes.
probably in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Tarek Skubal, Detroit Tigers tonight. This is a real test for our Toronto Blue Jays. This is how we're going to wrap it up. The Jays taking game one of this 4-game series. Where are you at, Grounds Crew? Do you think the Blue Jays can take down the almost sure thing Cy Young Award winner in the American League, which will make it 2 years in a row? And Adam, let's end on this. What do you think? Where are you at on super stud Tarek Skubal? And do the Jays have this rope a dope enough in them to see enough that third or fourth time through the order they can get to him?
Yeah, like I don't see why not. We are just running so hot that like nobody really scares me right now. I think
Yeah,
we talked on the Patreon side. You feel like a Leafs fan saying we want the Panthers.
yeah,
Like there's a little bit of like, okay, maybe we're getting out ahead of our skis here a little bit. But these games are big, man. Like this is not like people are saying, oh, it's not quite like a playoff preview yet, but it also kind of is,
yeah.
man. Like these games mean a lot. We're a game and a half up on the Tigers for first in the American League. Astros are 1 game behind us, so it's us, then Astros, then Tigers. Astros 1 game behind us, Tigers game and a half behind us. This series has major playoff implications, not only in that like you've got to be able to win a series against a team like this, for one,
Mhm,
but also to take 3 of 4 is just so much bigger than to split
mhm.
or to lose the series, right? So like we can either leave this series 4.5 game cushion on a bye in the first round, or not holding that spot at all. Like that's a
Yeah.
high variance of outcomes
Primary
there.
fucking go down.
So yeah, these games are absolutely huge, and I hate even doing this, but I love doing this. Looking ahead at the schedule, beyond the Tigers, 4 against Baltimore,
Mhm.
3 against the Royals, 3 against the Rockies.
Whoo.
That's a sweet spot in the schedule. That's the sort of part of the schedule you look forward to in April.
Mhm.
Now, my only concern is that we handle the Tigers and then have a letdown in that stretch, right? Like we saw it going into the All-Star game, and fuck, did people like to complain about losing that series to the Athletics, right? But like that is we're firing on all cylinders right now. These are the competitive games. These are the games you wake up in the morning early for, like I'm just picturing Springer, he's waking up before his alarm clock goes off
Mhm.
for these kind of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just worried that like, going into Kansas and Colorado, that there's a little bit of a like, okay, George Springer gets an extra day off this week, like maybe Vladdy's DHing more and, like whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's not the case, but good news with the timing of it, trade deadline. There's
Yeah.
going to be a new injection of energy of new faces with the team, right? So hopefully that's enough of an energy to like keep that momentum going. But again, let's not get too ahead of ourselves with the Tigers, but let's keep rolling.
Couldn't agree more. Go Blue Jays, go. Remember Baseball Town. We got Keegan Matheson. We have Jesse Rubinoff, and we have Ben Schulman. Tickets for that in the comments. Use the code BASEBALL. You save yourself 20%. Tickets are just $20. Let's celebrate this #1 team in the American League that we're cheering on. All right, folks. We'll see you Tuesday
Hey,
for Mailbag. Go ahead, Adam.
happy birthday to my buddy Brian, turning 60 tomorrow. So
Hey, nice. Happy birthday, Brian.
I
Cheers,
know.
everybody. See you Tuesday.